Any man who can drive safely while kissing a pretty girl is simply not giving the kiss the attention it deserves. Now that is so Einstein, so Einstein. A very misshapen head, and his grandmother squealed, "Ah, so gross, too big," when he was born. They were horrified, but he actually grew into his body, so he was fine. He was also incredibly slow to talk. He seemed to have everything to meet his needs, and it seems that he was almost 8 years old before he fluently did sentences. And then once he did those, he would repeat them 2 or 3 times over to himself. But he was someone that was always thinking. He always seemed to be thinking. He would never touch another person's hair. And I deliberately found the hairiest picture I could find. I thought, imagine if he saw that woman's hair, he'd go absolutely berserk. He hated touching anyone's hair, and he hated touching peaches. He couldn't touch a peach. Well, I think maybe it's the fuzziness. To me, it might be the fuzziness of the peach that's like hair. A bit weird. He squished the toes on each foot 99 times. Squish, 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 squish. And when asked why he did that, he said he thought it would help stimulate his brain cells. So I'm not sure if there's anything in that. I haven't found anything scientifically proven about that, but he would squish his foot, and it would 99 times. How many of you just squished your toes? I can't even talk about this without squishing my toes. I told you he liked to walk in the park, and he liked to feed the pigeons. He liked looking at the pigeons, and he liked feeding them. And if there was ever an injured pigeon, he would take it back to his hotel room, and he would care for it until it got better. But there was one special pigeon in the park. It was a white pigeon. It was a female. It wasn't a dove, it was a white female pigeon. And he actually fell in love with this pigeon. He loved it so much, he said, I only had to think of it, and it would come to me. I'd call it, and it would come to me, but I sometimes just had to think of it, and it would come to me. Now, this is an interesting story. Lady Astor, Nancy Witcher Langholm Astor, Viscountess Astor. She was the first woman British MP. She was actually American, but she was the first British woman MP, and she was a women's rights activist. And one time, Lady Astor was at dinner with Churchill and his family. And Lady Astor kept talking about all the different things for women, votes for women, rights of women, women should be doing this and that. And each time Churchill's going, no, I don't believe in that, no, I don't believe in this. And she was getting furious. So in the end, she said to him, Winston, if you were my husband, I would put poison in your coffee. And sharp as a tack, he turned round and said, Lady Astor, if you were my wife, I would drink it. Alan Alcorn, who created the game Pong at Atari, said this. It was 1973, and there was this kid, maybe 18, who was just so passionate about technology, said his name was Steve Jobs, so I hired him. He was kind of a pain to work with, and he had this real problem with body odor. So we made him work nights. It was better for everyone. So few people came in contact with him. That's the Apple logo now, but that wasn't the original Apple logo. That's a good question, thank you. Anyone know what the original Apple logo was? Well, it's very interesting. It's a picture of Isaac Newton sitting under an apple tree.